What's up, Team Takeover? Wayne Shotta here. I want to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on the UFC on Versus 3 show. Now, originally, I was just going to do a vlog about Strikeforce and kind of briefly give the results of the show. I wasn't too excited about it. It's free, so I'm not going to complain. And the fact that it was in 3D kind of intrigued me because my friend Joey has one of those TVs. And I was hoping to actually watch it over his house. But turns out that it was on direct TV. They don't broadcast it, so I got screwed out of that. But nonetheless, first fight on Facebook was Danny Castillo against Joe Stevenson. Stevenson lost by unanimous decision. I believe this is his third loss in a row against lower quality opponents. Stevenson just has looked bad the last couple of fights. 3 years ago, he was fighting for the title. Now he's just kind of on the preliminary cards. Pretty sad, but you know, that's the way things go. He is 28. I don't know if Dana White's thinking about cutting him a lot of times. So with some of these Ultimate Fighter guys, Dana White kind of tries to stay away from doing that, or he's kind of reluctant to do it. But if he were to cut Stevenson, I don't think a lot of people are going to argue. Whatever it is that Stevenson needs to work out. He needs to work out, and it's possible he could do it in some of these regional shows. But nonetheless, so we go on to the main card. First fight was Brian Bowles versus Damasio Page. Bowles beat him for the second time by guillotine in the first round. With the same at the same time, I believe it was 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Shout out to J Ride for mentioning that on Twitter. And you guys could always follow me on Twitter because I always tweet what my thoughts are during the show. Yeah, that pretty awesome, cool thing. He beat him by guillotine, and I actually thought Damasio Page was going to win, but yeah, so pretty surprising. Second fight of the night, Chris Weidman defeated Alessio Sakara by unanimous decision. Weidman, I believe, had 2 weeks notice for this fight. I believe he's part of Sura Jiu-Jitsu. Great wrestler. They mentioned, I believe he beat 2 guys. Bader was one, and I don't know if it's John Jones, or forgive me if you guys could comment and let me know who the second guy he beat is some of his wrestling his prior college wrestling days. That'd be awesome. But Weidman just out-wrestled Sakara. Pretty funny during the fight. Sakara was gushing blood from his head, wiped his head on the referee. Pretty funny. The referee took it like a man, you know, just brushed it off and kept it going during the fight. But nonetheless, Sakara's a veteran. Surprising Weidman won, but you know, not every fight's going to be just a gimme fight. So whatever. Third fight on the main card is Mark Munoz, who defeated against CB Dalloway. Mark Munoz knocked him out first round. At first, I thought that Munoz, the referee stopped the fight a little too early. I saw some replays, and looked like Dalloway was out for a split second. I maybe would be probably the worst ref in the world because I would probably allow Munoz to hit him maybe 1 or 2 more times. The way I saw it, I see it sometimes with refs, it's better that they let the fighter get totally knocked out or pretty dazed than stopping the fight early. Maybe I'd be a horrible ref. But that's just how I would do it, because I mean, look at what happened with Brock and Carwin. If the ref kind of stopped him quick, who the hell knows if you know what that would have happened, what would have happened with there. Nonetheless, Munoz defeats Dalloway. I know Dalloway was pissed about it, but after like reviewing it, I'm not going to argue about it. I don't think the outcome would have changed. Maybe a couple of seconds would have went by, but Munoz was on his way to knocking the guy out. So that's it. And now we all go on to the main card. And for the first time since I've been like going to the forum and you know, using Twitter on a daily basis, I've seen people like so like so much into this fight that they're like the decision in this fight that they're going nuts. Like I've never seen the forum on fire and split about something. I'd say 75% think Campman won, but according to the judges, Diego Sanchez beat Campman by unanimous decision. I was on Twitter with J Ride and Gary the Grape, um, and and I had Diego winning it. Actually, initially I had Diego winning it. I heard the crowd react. I know my friend Tsukaki Kevin Matthews, my friend Kevin, he thought the same thing, and my friend Richie the same thing. It was a pretty wild fight. It was actually a lot better than I thought it was. I was laughing with when Diego came out to La Bamba. Love Richie Valens. Love that movie. But a great fight nonetheless. The outcome is highly arguable. So now I get to the point. I think the first round, when it comes to that fight, the first round Campman has hands down. I'm not going to complain about that. And during the fight, I thought Diego had the second round, and I thought he pressed the fight during the third and won the third. But I'm the type of person that's open-minded. And usually when people react to like a bad judgment in a fight, I'm usually on the side of the people. But this is like the first time, I think, in a while, I think since Serra versus Hughes, where I actually thought the judges made the right decision. And so I found myself kind of puzzled because I said, all right, maybe I'm losing it. What did I miss? What's going on here? And I go on Facebook and I'm talking to Sean. Shout out to Sean and a couple other people on the Team Takeover Facebook page, and they're arguing about it. Sean's on fire about it. So I decided that I was going to take a day off, from everything and just kind of watch the fight after work. And my opinion has changed. From watching it the second time, I thought it should have been a tie or a draw. I thought the second round was 10-10 round. I thought Campman won the first and Diego won the third. So now I was still puzzled. I watched it again the third time, and I said, am I an idiot? Because I know DiBiase said, hey, anybody who's watching this, they're watching if they thought Diego won, it's the wrong fight, but they're not watching the right fight, and everybody on the forum's going nuts. And I'm like, wow, what's going on here? I know Gary and all these other guys, they're really knowledgeable. But I watched it the third time. I had the same thing. Oh, God, it was a draw. So initially, the second time I watched it with the audio, the third time and I thought it was a draw. The third time I watched it with no audio, no Joe Rogan, and I still had it a draw. So then I go to the fight metric. And your eyes may deceive you, but numbers don't lie. The second round I thought was a draw, but according to fight metrics, in the second round, Campman outstruck Sanchez 151 to 139. He threw more punches. What's crazy about it, and a lot of people will say, well, that doesn't mean anything. It's only, what is it, like 19 or whatever, 10 more points, 12 more points. You got to take into the effect the takedown attempts, and Campman was stuffing those takedowns all night long. And if I would be wrong to tell you that in the second round, whether or not although it was the closest round, that Campman's stuffed takedowns weren't mentionable or valid or important in this fight, then I'd be wrong. The third round, which I thought was going to be closer with my own eyes, actually, Fight Metric has it. The third round uh, 123-91 with Sanchez outstriking Catman. And then he did one takedown out of the 3 attempts during that round. So my eyes were deceiving me. I'm wrong. Catman should have won this fight. He should have won the first and second round, not the third. Which is wild because I think a lot of people think Catman, won the first and third. Fight Metrics says differently. Fight Metrics has Catman winning the fight. Is it the worst decision in the world? It's no Shogun Machida won. It's definitely not that. It's one of those things where the judges, I don't know if they're knowledgeable about the sport or if they were easily fooled. I know I was. Sometimes pressing the fight doesn't mean that you should win it. But I learned I kind of learned to kind of study a little bit more what's going on. I think maybe I got a little too caught up in Diego bloodied up and everything. I know a lot of people were saying at the end of the fight, well, look at Sanchez looked like shit and Catman looked great. He had a broken hand. But sometimes, people's eyes and their faces get hit up, and that, sometimes people scar up or cut up easily. You can't judge a fight by how a fighter looks at the end of the round. And you could also not, it's not like in Japan sometimes where they judge the whole fight. In the early Pride days, they judge the whole fight. It's a 10 must point system. But that's what I have here. I was wrong. I thought Sanchez was valid in winning, but Catman got robbed. Not the worst decision in the world, as far as being robbed. But it's great just to see people so passionate about this fight, for a fight that like a lot of people just left off the blip. I mean, when I went online and was texting all my friends, most of the people were like, "Well, I'm watching it now because I heard so much about it," So that's it. Shout out to Gumby and DiBiase and Bloodstain Lane, who's out, I believe, in Ohio. I hope he has a great time at the fights for Strikeforce on Saturday. Shout out to Donovan Man and Grape and J-Ride and everybody in Team Takeover. You guys have been awesome as far as giving me feedback. I apologize for the crappy quality of the last vlog. I had a million problems with YouTube as far as like the length of the videos, so I gotta keep it shorter than than I thought I should have. But nonetheless, thanks for watching. Add me on Twitter, and feel free to give me feedback, comments, negative, positive, whatever. Let me know. I appreciate everything, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.